Hello, thank you for joining me. In this short video, I'm going to discuss how to use a protocol from the Essentials collection, the Count protocol. It's a very simple but very useful protocol. The dataset I'm going to use to demonstrate the protocol is from the broad bioimage benchmark collection, with accession number BBBC004V1. Each of the images contains 300 objects. There are several collections with varying degrees of overlap between each of the objects, and I'm using version 0, which has minimal overlap between the objects. I've used Image-Pro to import the dataset as a multi-site set. And you can see that these objects, which are synthetic objects, are going to provide a useful challenge for the counting protocol. Let's load the protocol. So I'm going to click on the Count Size ribbon and select the Protocols button. Now the collection I'm looking for is the Essentials collection. This contains 3 essential protocols, including the Object Count protocol. And I'm going to load the default version of the protocol. As you can see, the protocol is loaded on the left-hand side of the application. Now, the first thing to do before executing any protocol is to click on the Sync button to ensure that the protocol is aware of the image or channel names in your dataset. In my case, channel 1 is the source of my objects. And I'm going to select the interactive checkbox and click on Next Step. In the next step, Step 2, we're going to segment out our objects of interest. Now by default, Image-Pro selects the Smart Segmentation option. I could, if I wish, click Cancel and change to the Threshold segmentation. But I think for this image, Smart Segmentation is going to be a good option. So let's zoom in and select 1 or 2 objects of interest. So I'm going to select my objects. And then select a region of background. And it looks like Image-Pro is able to successfully segment each of the objects I wish to count. There are several options in Step 2 that you're likely to find useful. For example, I can clearly see that some of my objects are incorrectly joined. So I'm going to apply a split option. I'll try the watershed and click the Apply button. And that seems to have done a good job of splitting my objects. I'm also going to apply a minimum area. There are some small pieces of debris in the image that are being counted. So if I set a minimum area that excludes them, they'll be ignored by the protocol. I could always set a maximum area as well if I wish, but in this case it's unnecessary. So let's click OK. I'm also going to use the Fill Holes option and click Apply. Okay, that looks good, so we can hit Next Step. And here we can see in the data collector that we've correctly counted 300 objects. In this step, the Results step, I can also configure how data collector views will be displayed. For example, I'd like to see the heat map. So if I select the heat map and select the option to show object count, I'll see the object count for each of my images when I run the protocol on the whole data set. By default, this is also set to show the pie chart and the block. I'm going to deselect the pie chart option. Now I click on the Read button and save my protocol. So this I'll save as version 2 of the Object Count protocol. I can now hit Finish. I'm now going to deselect the interactive mode and click Run Selected. This will make Image-Pro run the protocol on the full multi-site dataset. The protocol is executed very quickly. It's a multi-threaded process. And here we can see that I've collected data from all 20 of the images in this set. If we look at the heat map, for most of these images we've counted the 300 objects correctly. For a couple, we're out by just 1. So I think that's an impressive result. At this point I can generate a report. So if I click on the Report button, the object count report is generated. Here we can see a rather uninteresting graph that shows 300 objects found in each location. And we can see the data collector image table and a table of snapshots. This is just a preview of the report. To see a full report, Click Save As, and you export the report as a PDF with all of the data points included. Now I just run the protocol against a single image set that contained multiple locations. You may want to execute a protocol against a folder of images. Protocols allow you to do this. With interactive mode deselected, if you click on the arrow to the right of the Run Selected button, you'll find a Run Batch option. If you click on that, you can navigate to your folder of images. So here are the images that I downloaded in order to build my dataset. If I click Process Selection, the protocol is now going to be executed against those individual images. And the protocol's been executed, and I've got the same result. Each image name is recorded in the data collector. Thanks for joining me for this short video. I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions, please contact Media Cybernetics, and we'll be happy to help.